Good day, leadership. Thank you for this opportunity just to explain my connection with the ocean and my knowledge. I always have a connection with the ocean and the balance of the ocean and also the energy of the ocean. My experience relation with management in ocean management in South Africa, especially in Gqeberha is zero due to the exclusion and materialization of our indigenous community that participates in appoints. We we grateful for the acceptance of the Khoisan Traditional Leadership Act 3, descend the inclusion of the community in decision making. That's for the ocean management and also disaster management, etc. As mentioned of the non-existing relationship with the ocean management, we do engage with governmental institutions or departments. Our deep spiritual connection with the nature and the ocean that guide us for centuries and determine our survival. Our deep indigenous knowledge with nature and the ocean demand us to have a great place where we can perform our customs and rituals as our forefathers done before. So the significance of the fish trap at the Cape Recife is testament of these rituals and customs that proves the intellectual scientific minds of our forebears that is now restricted from us. We also are grateful for participating on the art-based research project that has enlightened us our responsibility towards the protection of our ocean environment. And I've learned more about the climate changes, and also we exchange spiritually knowledge of the ocean and also the energy that is below the surface, the balance that must be in the ocean. For centuries our people lived out of the ocean, and now the coastline is restricted and controlled by private owners. We really need more re- research, and we also need more to reach out to the community of today. And my experience with the ocean is a spiritually connection, how the calmness and also the roughness of the ocean. I also see the ocean as a mother that is giving birth to children, and that's my connection to the ocean. And if there is something in the ocean that is it must not be there, then she will get that thing out. So I thank you for letting me talk a little bit about what the ocean really means for us as the Khoi and San community in South Africa.
Good day, leadership. Firstly, I want to take this opportunity to thank everyone for making this day possible, especially to Mia and Dr. Rivers and the Khoi and San communities and the leaders abroad the country. Today, I want to say that for me, the fish traps play a significant role in our indigenous cultures. In 2015, there was a book launch with the University of Architectures at the Nelson Mandela University, and the Khoi and San community also took part of this book. This book name is Spirit of Waters. The book explains in detail about how we used to practice our cultures and rituals at the Cape Recife and along the Nelson Mandela beaches. This was also the first time that this site was studied and the drawings were mapped For me, the fish traps play a magnificent role, especially when we have full moon rituals, when we go to the traps at night, when the tide is high and the fish blow over the rocks, and the next day during the low tide, we have a whole pool of fish for over hundreds of Khoi and San community. Lastly, I wanna end off with the international law of indigenous people rights are laid out in the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, and it was adopted in 2017. Indigenous peoples' land ownership rights are recognized under the international law. States cannot relocate indigenous peoples without our free prior consent and without offering us adequate compensation. The land that we live on is a home over 80% of our planet biodiversity and rich in natural resources such as oil, gas, timber, and sea and minerals. However, these lands are routinely appropriated, sold, leased, or simply plundered and polluted by governments and private companies. Many of our indigenous people have been uprooted from our lands due to discriminatory policies or armed conflict. We as indigenous people faces violence and even murders when we seek to defend our land. Our human rights are often being abused when we try to perform our cultures. There was a growing number of our indigenous people who have now been moved away from our coastline to move into the cities and town. We then faces many challenges when we have to practice our cultures at the Cape Recife fish traps. This also leads to poverty, marginalization, and violence, and sometimes the extinction of as a people. It is now a privatization of private land owners. Lastly, I want to say thank you to Mia and the team for working with Ocean Research Project for the past few years. I must say I've learned a lot from them and are always thankful for granting me this opportunity to work with them. I thank you.